Hi, Kris. Welcome to Drag and Drop.
Hi, thanks so much for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you on. Thank you for agreeing to be a guest. I know you're still new to the OutSystems world, but I thought it'd be great to have you on. You're early in the journey to see kind of how it's gone so far and kind of your vision.
Yes, definitely. And I'm already a fan of yours. I love what you are doing
Appreciate
for
it.
the OutSystems community and the ecosystem. So I am so excited to be here with you.
Amazing. Well, you've stepped into this, the CMO role at OutSystems. I'm interested to know, what attracted you, to this moment in the company's journey.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was so excited to join this company because I think, it's a combination of three things. I think number one, they have amazing technology. We have a great platform, a generational platform that people are building their careers on. We have an extremely passionate team. The team here, they care so much. They genuinely care about our customers, and for me, that meant so much. And I think the third is that there is a incredibly inspiring customer community. You know, OutSystems has built this world-class platform that empowers companies and people to innovate, to build more securely. And I think that is something that as we look ahead to the age of AI, that is so important.
Mm.
And, kind of coming back to the community and enabling these builders and developers and innovators, I'm just so inspired by them who are bringing out systems to their companies every day and really bringing that mission to life. So I think this unique moment that we're in, I think OutSystems has an incredible opportunity to help new companies, but also help existing companies really be thought leaders and lead in the age of AI. There's thousands of companies. Like we have customers like Heineken, like
Yeah.
Roche, like Pokemon, like
Yeah.
Toyota. You've talked to a lot of
Yeah.
these customers, and I think something that you're probably hearing from them is like they all need speed, they all need governance, and they all need real outcomes from AI. And I think that is the special differentiator that OutSystems can deliver for all of them. And helping our customers move from pilots into production with AI and moving from promises into real enterprise AI outcomes, that is truly our differentiator. And that's why I'm so excited to be here as CMO.
Yeah. And, before joining, obviously your background is you come from Salesforce. Had you, because, as you know, I've moved across from Europe to the US, and, there's always been an awareness issue of OutSystems being well known. Were you quite aware of OutSystems, or was it more kind of when Woodson moved over, you kind of then came on your radar?
Yeah, to be honest, I hadn't heard of OutSystems. And, I worked at Salesforce for 13 years.
Yeah.
And so for me, that was also part of the attraction of
Mm.
OutSystems. Obviously I learned about OutSystems when Woodson came here. Woodson and
Yeah.
I worked together at Salesforce. But I think that was exciting to me because I was like, wow, there is this huge generational company that is so, robust and powerful in Europe and in APAC, and we have this whole untapped market in the US. And that is a huge opportunity. It's a huge untapped opportunity that made me really excited to join the company.
Yeah. And, being at Salesforce, you've led, marketing and community at a really large scale. So, so what for you, felt familiar and what, felt generally different when you joined OutSystems?
I think, what felt really familiar, and honestly is part of the reason that I'm here and I got really excited about this company, is that you can feel the importance of ecosystem here. And I think that is a differentiator of a truly great company and a company that becomes a generational company is when you have product, you have community, and you have marketing that are working together to create that ecosystem momentum. And I think having that ecosystem is truly a differentiator. And I think it's a strategic lever that not all companies have. And I saw that in OutSystems, which got me so excited. And I mentioned the community being a big attractor for me. I think that is also a huge differentiator. And the community is truly the heart and soul of OutSystems. When I think about the community and its impact on us at the company, the community keeps us motivated to do more and to do the right thing. It keeps us grounded in what we're delivering for our customers. It helps keep the pulse on what's really important and making sure that we are staying on the forefront of innovation for our customers to lead them to the future. but doing that in a way that truly serves them, like not doing innovation for innovation's sake, but doing innovation because it is leading them to the future and leading them to what is next for their companies. And like for me, I think that felt very familiar. I see that in OutSystems, and it's very exciting. I think the global scale of the community at OutSystems also felt familiar. You know, at
Yeah.
OutSystems we have over 900,000 community members from 195 countries, so truly global.
Yeah.
We're
Amazing.
600 partners, and you know we have these very robust programs. We have 75 MVPs. We have 122 champions. So this ecosystem and this community is truly global. I think what felt different to me, and we talked a little bit about this already, is
Yeah.
that we have so much untapped opportunity at our
Yeah.
hands. You know, there's
Definitely.
areas of the world where we have so much addressable market, so
Yeah.
much room for growth, and it makes my job really important because as a marketer and leading marketing here, I know that brand awareness is absolutely crucial for us,
Yeah.
especially in the US. You know, I mentioned that I hadn't heard about systems before I came here. That's a problem,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I think
Definitely.
that that's a huge growth opportunity for us. And I think growing both the company in the US, but also growing the community in the US are huge opportunities for us.
Yeah. And talking about community, I think it was probably great for you because I think you did a post around that when you first joined. You basically went straight to Lisbon for the conference when you just
Yeah.
started, right? So that was kind of really early on in your journey, and probably to make it even better, it was the biggest conference they've ever had. So that probably really hyped it up really well.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, that was something that really it made me wanna be a part of this
Mm.
company. That was before I was full-time. I was actually advising with the company, and
Okay.
yeah, I was consulting. I got to go
Yeah.
to one as part of that. I was helping the team with the keynote, and I feel so grateful that I got to experience
Yeah.
that part of OutSystems. Because as you mentioned, so one in Lisbon last year was our biggest user conference to date. A quick little promo. We're going to have even bigger one this year
Yeah.
coming in Amsterdam in June. But at one, you know, I got to experience firsthand the community and the vibrancy of our customers. And I think just walking around the event, like feeling the energy and going room to room and seeing customers on stage, sharing their knowledge, sharing what they built on OutSystems and being so proud of their work and so proud to showcase what they built. Like for me, that was just incredible.
Yeah.
And hearing stories, actually, one story that I just love. So Kevin Hearn from Axos Bank
Yeah.
had an entire keynote at one. I think you watched that keynote as
Yes.
well, and you know he just has this great story of starting at Axos Bank and immediately seeing that he was just drowning in hundreds of legacy apps and like he needs to modernize all of this. He has like old AS400 apps, like it's just technical debt everywhere.
Yeah.
And hearing how he used OutSystems, he used Mentor, he used AI agents to instantly modernize these legacy apps and take a process that would have taken, you know, dozens and dozens of steps and months, and using Mentor to get that down to just a few steps and not having to rebuild all of that work from scratch, being able to leverage it and modernize it and not have to rebuild was just so cool hearing him tell that story. Or also one more story at the beginning of the keynote, as you might remember, we had the CIO from the Hospital de Luge.
Oh, yes. I remember that. Yeah.
Yes, I mean, this was just awesome. So we had the CIO. The Hospital de Luge, which I'm probably pronouncing wrong, is Portugal's largest healthcare group. So
Yeah.
they have, I think, 12,000 employees. They support 14 hospitals, 17 clinics, and using OutSystems, they've built, I think, like 500 apps to
Wow.
help unify the patient and the staff experience. And we were interviewing him before the keynote, and the excitement that he was just the way like he was just showcasing and telling the crowd about what he built. I mean, this man was just had such energy and such passion for what he built. And I just remember he said, OutSystems literally helps us make a difference in the lives of our patients. And you hear, I mean, I get goosebumps just thinking
Yeah.
about that
Yeah.
today. And I just remember sitting in the audience and I was like, this is it. I want to be part of this company. Like,
That's amazing.
sign me up.
Yeah, yeah. I remember him because I know obviously Miguel had like 15-minute slots with everyone, and his went well over. But it was because he was just so passionate about the platform. I remember.
Yes, and Miguel, who he led our developer relations
Yeah,
team. I remember I was just like, I was giving Miguel the eyes because I was like, just let this man talk. It is amazing.
yeah. I remember that. That was great. It was really good. It was really good. He was very passionate. He was very passionate.
Yes.
I need to definitely interview him because I think, but it'll probably go over an hour for sure.
You should. It'll be worth it. It'll be so
Yeah,
worth it.
yeah.
He's incredible, and what they've built with OutSystems is incredible. And for me, being proud of where I work, and just the motivation to get up and do great work every day, hearing
Oh.
stories like that, that'll do it for me.
Yeah, it's amazing. That's great. And with the platform, it's obviously, it's been known as a low code platform for a very long time. People have different perceptions of low code. Obviously I've been following, the new messaging and around kind of, OutSystems pushing towards the AI era and agentic platform and AI powered platform, when it's still obviously it's going to be known as low code because that's kind of where it's been positioned for a long time, So when people hear low code, and they are also, still people, they always compare it to things like power platform and things like that. And they think, departmental tools and small internal apps. So what do you think's the biggest story, OutSystems should be telling to the market?
I think it's a great question because I think, the reality of OutSystems is that we have evolved far beyond our roots in low
Yeah,
code. And I think low code is always going to be our foundation and what makes us special. But today, I think the bigger story is really about like enterprise grade AI platforms that help organizations build and operate their mission critical apps and their agents. And so we're really evolving the story from for us. It is evolved beyond low code. It's about a platform to build and manage the next generation of apps and agents that enterprises are going to need. And it's about building with speed and with agility and in an enterprise proven way. Because I think something that we have seen and we've heard from our customers is that enterprises don't just need to build software faster. Like they do
yeah,
need to build software faster, but they also need to modernize legacy applications like that
yeah,
story I told you of Axos
yeah,
Bank. They need to connect complex data. They need to incorporate AI into their real workflows. And on top of that, they need governance, they need security, they need lifecycle management. These are all these things that enterprises care about. And I think our roots in low code and our roots in helping customers solve these super complex enterprise problems for the last 2 decades, that is actually our differentiator and where our years of low code leadership will really set us up to lead in the AI era. So I think low code was always going to be an important foundation for us, but we've evolved past that story into the AI era.
yeah. And you've spent years shaping, these category narratives, and how do you think this positioning with OutSystems will, in a world that suddenly it's obsessed with, obviously, like you said, AI, speed, every conversation needs to involve AI or no one's really listening.
It's so true. I think, I think we've all gotten obsessed with AI and speed. Even just last night, I was having dinner with two of my girlfriends, and all we talked about the entire dinner was AI. I'm like, how is this is like infiltrated all areas of our
Yeah,
life. And I think, part of what we were talking about last night is like we all want to use AI as a force multiplier to help us as individuals move faster. And I think that is the same that customers want. They want speed, but I think they want speed that is not going to create chaos. I think this is an important differentiator for, especially for enterprises, is AI has potential to create chaos, especially if you move too fast without guardrails. I think enterprises, through all of the innovations over the last decades, have seen what happens when teams move too fast, when they don't have structure. It can create tech debt. It can create having to rework or rebuild things, creates quality issues. It creates governance gaps that will creep up later in production. And so what we're hearing is that our customers are asking for speed, but they want that fast iteration, but they want speed with that quality and control still built in. And then I think kind of coming back to your last question, I think this is where our 20 plus years of low code leadership is a real
Mhm.
advantage, because we've spent decades helping enterprises move faster without sacrificing the control that they need. And I think that foundation is exactly what AI development is requiring now.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think this is the moment we were made for at
Yeah,
OutSystems.
yeah. And it helps, like you said, the customers that you mentioned, obviously I've attended most of the conferences and they come on the stage and they're giving these really great, you know, use cases of things that actually been built with the platform, right? And that it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, hearing those real use cases where you hear real impact from real customers, and I think, that is also a big differentiator because you don't always hear that with AI right
Mhm.
now. Like, a lot of it is vision, and there's, like, some hype and there's some
Yeah,
excitement, but it's like when the real, like, the rubber meets the road, like, the real impact and real outcomes, that's what's important.
and from your experience, what do you think is the real difference between marketing software and marketing an ecosystem?
It's interesting because I think those are very different things, and I've done both in my career. So they're very different, but I think the magic is when you can bring them both together into one motion. I think that's like coming into this role and being I like to think of myself as a very community-minded CMO. I
Mhm.
think that's the magic, is when you can bring those two things together. If you think about when you're marketing software, the focus is really going to be on the product. How do you talk about the
Yeah,
features, the value, the benefits, how you compare against competitors? So you're constantly trying to show people and buyers how your product is better than the others.
yeah,
But I think when you're marketing an ecosystem, like, there's a shift that happens because you're not just promoting a product. It's like it evolves to something bigger than the product. Like, you're creating this community of developers and partners and customers who are all building something together. They're building value together, and their success becomes the foundation behind your product. And that is something that I think, like, that's the magic, is when you can elevate your users or your developers, your builders' success, um, you know, alongside your product. That's truly magical. And I think connecting marketing, the marketing motion to the community motion, like, that's where like the cool stuff comes in. That's where I get excited because it's all about making people successful with the products that you're building. And for me, that's fun, that's inspiring, because it becomes more than just a product or more than just software. It's making other people successful, and it's literally changing lives. You hear people about who, they didn't have a technology background. They come in, they take a class, they take one of your classes, they learn OutSystems, they find a fantastic career that they're in for their life. How cool is that? Like,
yeah.
that is inspiring to me. And so when you can link these two things of marketing a community and an ecosystem along with the product, it's just magic.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think, from my interviews of people that I've interviewed who have these career switches of non-IT, I think even though technical background is preferred, there are some that persevere and they push through and they do it. And when I speak to them, that journey of, yes, it was tough, but I interviewed a girl who she switched careers after being in a career for 10 years. She switched to OutSystems. She only has 2.5 years experience and she was presenting one of the sessions at One in
Wow.
Lisbon last year. And for her, she couldn't believe it, right? Because she always thought, okay, I don't belong at the table because I don't even have an IT background. And now you're presenting to a whole load of computer science graduates, at
Oh
a,
my
at a
God.
really large conference.
I mean, what can be more inspiring than
Yeah.
that? Literally
Yeah.
changing people's lives and helping them get introduced to new careers. that's just so inspiring. And thank you for the work that you're doing in the ecosystem.
Appreciate
It's
it.
just so cool to hear stories like that.
Amazing. And yeah, with the community, and maybe, part of your decision making, did you feel like this would be a real strategic advantage, coming in, and obviously, one, it's a company that you didn't really know of, all right, but you did some strategic, you did some kind of
Yeah.
consulting work and you built it up, and then obviously going to the conference, seeing the community, did all those things kind of give you that okay, this is going to be it's going to help my role now that I'm going to accept it and move forward.
Yeah, I think it's just a very strategic advantage, especially right now, where things are right now. And I think
Yeah.
we're all feeling this. Like the pace of technology, the pace of AI evolution is something that I've never felt this much change this fast in my career ever. And you think about the opportunity that's there, and especially with community, communities, we help each other learn, we share best
Yeah.
practices, we solve problems together, and this accelerates learning, it accelerates adoption in a way that you can't do with traditional methods. Like the skills are also just changing so fast that you think about, like, people aren't learning this in high
Yeah.
school, they're not learning it in
No.
community college or college.
No.
You have to be able to learn it from other people in the community who are doing it. And it's that skill that they learned last week. They didn't learn this skill 5 years ago. Those skills are
Yeah.
gone. The skills are
Yeah.
turning over faster than ever. And so I think that's why community is, it's not just a nice to have. This is like an absolute strategic advantage, because I think it is the foundation that will help companies move faster and help that foundation move faster of our customers as they're learning and accelerating every day.
And at Salesforce, Trailhead and the community, became a real major growth engine. What lessons from that experience do you see applying to OutSystems, and what things do you think, it needs its own playbook?
Yeah, I think one of the biggest things that I learned from working on Trailhead and working at Salesforce is that I think we did that magic of bringing together learning and community to drive adoption at scale. And I think what was unique about Trailhead, so Trailhead is Salesforce's free gamified learning platform, and we
Mhm.
created this to really scale teaching Salesforce skills, because we needed to not just educate hundreds of people, but we needed to educate and skill up millions of people.
Yeah.
And and we did that by making learning fun and making it approachable, because I think, and I feel it today, like learning new skills, especially learning new AI skills, is intimidating.
Yeah.
And the more you can make it fun and make it approachable and make it like you're playing a game, the better. And
Yeah.
this is something that I've been, yeah, as I came to OutSystems, like one of the things that I've been very vocal about and very supportive about is, how we bring our developers along the way and help them learn skills in a fun way. So
Wow.
we did a fun game last year called Agents versus Zombies,
That was great.
where,
Yeah.
did you play that?
No, but it was all over my LinkedIn. It was all over
Yeah.
my LinkedIn.
Yeah, because I think we saw the same problem where it's like, we need to get our builders, like, lead them to the future, get them playing with AI and agents, even if they don't quite have that use case yet. And
Yeah.
so what we chose to do is do it in a fun, non-corporate way. And so we invited them in to play a game where, this is around Halloween time. So they played a game where they built agents that were fighting zombies. And people just had so much fun with it. And we introduced people into building agents who maybe otherwise wouldn't have
Yeah.
have done it yet. Maybe they'd be a little intimidated. We also did the same recently with Groundhog Day. So
Yeah.
we created a game where you built agents in order to save Phil the groundhog.
Yeah.
And I think things like this, where you can make learning AI agents fun and approachable, is, I think that's some of the things that I learned from Trailhead.
Yeah.
Um, Also, just building a community around a learning platform. Because it's not just about learning the skills, but it's also about meeting people who are doing the same thing, having the same journey as you, and then it's like, the community kind of becomes more than, like I said earlier, it's like more than
Yeah.
software. It becomes your family, it becomes your friends. I saw wedding proposals happen at our user conferences. Like,
Wow.
that is cool
That is
when
very
people
cool.
are finding finding their tribe within the ecosystem. Like that is just really cool. I think it's really inspiring for me, and I think another important lesson is just, it's not just about engaging people, but it's about creating opportunity for those people. And that's what we did with Trailhead and at Salesforce. That's what we're doing at OutSystems. And I think ultimately it makes our company stronger because it makes it easier for our customers to adopt the platform because they know they're going to be able to find skilled talent and
Yeah,
skilled builders to support them.
amazing. And earlier this year, I think that there's some still posting, my LinkedIn was sprayed with champions, MVP logos everywhere, right? And,
It's still happening.
yeah, it's still going on. I think some are a bit late to posting, but, what role did these champions and MVPs and advocates play in, building trust, especially with these enterprise buyers?
Yes. So first I have to say part of it seeing in your feed too might also be my fault because I go and I really try to personally congratulate every single
Yeah,
MVP because I'm just amazed by the work that they're doing. And I think that they do so much for OutSystems. And so we have programs for champions, for
yeah,
MVPs, and really, I think what is so important about this is that they are bringing authentic credibility to us and
yeah,
to our company. Because when you think about an enterprise purchase, enterprise buyers are making a very very high risk decision
yeah,
about the
yeah,
platform that they're choosing.
yes,
And while I would love to think that it's only the marketing messages that matter, I think what's most important is the trust that you're hearing from the people who are actually using the technology, the people who are actually succeeding with the technology. And I think that is where our champions, that's where our MVPs and our community leaders come in because they are the people who they're building real solutions. They are sharing with the world what is working, what is not working. They are honest about that. And they're helping other people learn. And, these people are constantly speaking at events. They are participating in forums. They're mentoring other people. And they create a level of trust, authenticity, and credibility that you could never do with a marketing
yeah,
campaign.
yeah,
And so I'm so grateful for these people. Like they are doing such great work in the ecosystem. And I love seeing these people shine, which is part of
yeah.
why, seeing all of this on LinkedIn and seeing everyone celebrate them. I am so happy seeing that. And, you know, I attended my first OutSystems user group a couple months ago, and I love this stuff. This was the London user
The
group.
Christmas special, yeah, yeah, I saw that one, yeah.
This is a special holiday one. And what's so cool is, you see these people get up and share their knowledge. So one of our MVPs, his name is Ruben Benito. He got up
Yeah.
on stage to share his knowledge on how he's building agents. And I'm not kidding you, it was as if a celebrity was on stage presenting. The
Yeah,
entire
wow.
room was captivated and engaged. And so for me, seeing these people just shine and share their talents with the community, I love it. And I love them showcasing their skills. I love seeing them create brands for
Yeah,
themselves in the community at the same time. It's very, very inspiring for me.
yeah, it is, it is. And then, yeah, even, MVPs that I've spoken to and champions, what's great is, they do so much just in their own time because they have so much
Yeah.
love for the platform, mentoring people, helping people,
Yeah,
organizing these user groups takes so much effort, right? Because
it does.
you don't get any like financial gain out of it, but just because of their love of getting people together in all these cities around the world is amazing.
And the thing is, like, someone's done it for them and they're paying it forward.
Exactly.
And that's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about the community is like they want to help someone else find their next dream job
Yeah.
and want to help them build that great app that's going to get them recognized by their leaders at the
Yeah.
company. It is very cool to see this kind of circle of shared
Yeah.
success in the community.
Yeah. Definitely. And with there's this big conversation around talent shortage in AI, right? So how do you see you know platforms like OutSystems changing how talent's developed?
Yeah, I think it's a very important topic right now because I think there's obviously tons of discussion on like, will AI replace developers?
Uh,
And, I think what we're seeing is actually pretty different. We're seeing like the demand for developers is not going down. We're actually hearing the opposite. People need more
mm,
developers.
yeah.
But I think like where the evolution is and where the change is going to be is that the role of developers is going to expand and evolve, where it's not just someone who can, write code or build an app. It is someone who can operate digital systems, who can, orchestrate across platforms, who can own the outcome at the end of the day and look at
Mhm.
all of these systems. And so I think it's actually, with modern platforms and AI development platforms like OutSystems, it's actually expanding the type of people who can be builders now, because it's now people who can focus on solving a business problem and orchestrating across all of these things, designing workflows, integrating all the systems.
Mm.
And so I actually think it welcomes more people into the ecosystem as builders. And so I'm excited for where this is going. We have not seen, anyone not needing developers.
Yeah,
We're actually doing the opposite. They need more developers.
yeah.
They need companies like yours to train more developers. And so I think it's also just training developers to become more of a, looking across all of the stack, looking
Mm.
across the systems and being more orchestrators.
Yeah, I definitely think the role of developer is changing, right? It's going to change,
Yeah,
and well, the title might remain developer, but I think it's a whole different skill set now with the age of AI. And I think it's not more so will AI replace you. It's more if you don't move with it, then you might be left behind.
exactly. It's those who are embracing AI who are going to be the future, and those who are not embracing AI, like, they're gonna get left behind, like you said.
Yeah, yeah. And what responsibility do you think, vendors have for creating, career pathways and not just more tools?
I think this is such an important question because I think companies have a very real responsibility here in creating career pathways. Because when you are constantly innovating, when you are introducing new technology into the world, you are not just shipping tools and moving on. Like you are creating new skills for your customers to learn. And I think the responsibility of companies and technology platforms to bring people along is going to be even greater in the AI era because that technology, those skills are moving so quickly, and people need help staying on top of it, making sure they know how to use it in real world systems. And again, we talked about this a little bit earlier, but these are the skills that are not being taught by
Uh,
traditional education. Again, you're not learning this in college. And so I think it is up to us as technology platforms to bring these people along, help them learn the skills, and that in turn will help our platform grow and thrive because you have to invest in the people using the platform and helping people learn the platform. And so whether that is investing in educational platforms or certifications, communities, we are doing a lot of things at OutSystems. We are partnering with learning platforms like Link Educate. We have our own programs, like we have our Become an AI Developer learning path
uh,
and certification. We have our developer schools. We have amazing partners like you who are skilling up talent to put them into the OutSystems
yeah,
ecosystem. And so I think this is just so important because with technology changing so fast, the responsibility has to be on us to bring
yeah,
everyone along. Like we are creating the technology, it's our responsibility to bring people along.
yeah, definitely. And without systems, there's you mentioned there's a amazing, very large partner network assisting customers with their implementations and projects. But why do you think enterprises should also think about growing an internal capability at the
Mhm.
same time?
Yeah, I think you have to do both, and I think there's different avenues for different times and different projects. I think you do have to invest in your internal capability because, you're going to have long-term projects that need that full-time talent. But then there's also times where you need to work with an amazing partner. where you have that special project. Maybe you have a very unique thing you need to implement. And what's great about the ecosystem is we have so many consultants, so many partners who can help you with that too. So I do think there's like different times to use internal capability
Wow.
versus using consultants. But I think that is also the power of having a robust ecosystem, is that there is an avenue for every need.
Yeah, definitely. And where do where does marketing and community and talent development intersect, most powerfully when done really well?
I think when I see it done really well and I see it intersect, I think it's creating a shared mission that everyone can
Mhm.
get aligned behind. Marketing's job is to help people understand what's possible with a product and what's possible with the platform. Unity really creates the environment where people can learn from each other and share those real world experiences. As you're thinking about learning and talent platform, like it gives people a pathway to actually build those skills. And you think of like all those together, it really becomes a shared mission that we're all on board with. Like we are helping people learn great skills to work on an amazing product and build great things for companies. Like that is a very cool mission and something cool to be a part of. And, I think it elevates it from, just it's beyond just software, but it's something bigger than yourself. You're part of something bigger than yourself. You're part of a shared mission with everyone who is at the One conference or at the OutSystems World Tour. And, that's when you evolve as a technology company from being just a tool to being an ecosystem.
Yeah, definitely. And it's been one of the main topics, but there's this big shift towards AI powered development, agentic systems. All the CIOs and leaders, that's what they're looking for. They'll go to these Gartner analyst conferences and kind of
Mhm.
that's what they want to see, who's leading the way. How does that change the story marketing teams need to tell?
Yeah, I think, I think for a very long time, like the story, like we were talking about earlier, is it was all about speed. It was helping people
Mm,
build stuff faster with fewer resources, do more with less. And I think that still matters. Speed still matters. But I think that AI has shifted the conversation to something even bigger than that, where it's more, enterprises are asking like, how do we build intelligent systems that actually scale across our entire business? And I think from a marketing perspective, that means we can't just talk about features and we can't just talk about productivity. We need to evolve the story to being one about outcomes and about being real impact, and how organizations can design, how they can deploy and really govern AI powered apps and agents that interact with all systems of their business. So I think it's evolving the story to outcomes, but it's also another big shift from a marketing perspective is credibility, because I think
so-
AI is moving so quickly. Everyone wants to see examples. They want to like know use cases. And so the more you can show real use cases, real people who are building the stuff, real
yeah,
outcomes, the marketing is, it's not really about the technology itself anymore, but it's more about what the organization can accomplish with the technology. It's about the company's success itself. And I think, coming back to OutSystems, I think that is where we have a huge advantage, because we have so many incredible customers who have real impact and are experiencing real outcomes with AI. And so I think that for us, our marketing story it's really powerful.
yeah. And yeah, earlier in the conversation, you spoke about AI hype, and there's such a hype around it. How do you avoid that hype and still inspire developers,
Mhm.
partners, and customers and leaders?
I think first, I actually don't think that all hype is bad.
Okay.
I think that hype can translate into excitement, and it can translate into encouraging people to try something they maybe wouldn't otherwise.
Mhm.
Because you have to start somewhere. You have to like
Sure.
find that vision, that excitement. But I think what we need to avoid with hype is that hype that doesn't have tangible outcomes. And I think the way that you avoid that is by grounding everything in real people who are actually building real things. And I think it's easy, especially today with AI, for conversations to get super visionary, super theoretical. But I think what we've seen is that our customers, our developers, our enterprise leaders are very pragmatic. And so they want to know what actually works in the real world, like thinking beyond the hype, like what is the actual outcome? What's actually working in the real world? And so I think the most effective way is that it's not just by vision alone, but it's by showing real examples, real use cases from real people and builders that are solving meaningful problems. And that creates credibility that, it's grounded in excitement, which is awesome, but it creates those real outcomes from real people who are building value.
Yeah, that is amazing. And still very early days in your kind of journey with OutSystems, and I know there's this 3-year kind of roadmap of goals. So if you look ahead 3 years from now, what do you hope people are saying about OutSystems community and the ecosystem?
I think 3 years from now, I would love for people to say, the OutSystems ecosystem, the community is one of the most vibrant ecosystems for builders in enterprise AI. And it's a place where builders, where partners, where customers can all come together and they can be successful and they can learn from each other. They can share ideas with each other. They can build real solutions together. And I think on top of that, they can build a great career for themselves and make a great living in the process. Like that is so important. And, I would love for people to say with OutSystems, like, I learned this incredible technology. I found a supportive community around it. And, it opened up incredible opportunities for me in my career. And I think that would be my dream. I think, in 3 years from now, people see OutSystems as a place where people can grow their careers, they can work on meaningful technology and do real change in their companies. And then if we can achieve those things, I think that OutSystems will have done something really magical.
That's amazing. Well, I appreciate you taking the time to speak to me and share your experiences and kind of how your experience has been early on and what you're kind of looking to achieve in the future. And I think I'd love to speak to you again in the future as, you go deeper in your role. Obviously, 3 years is a long way away. Things will change in 1 year, 2 years. AI is changing every day,
Every
right?
day.
So, things get dated really quick. So it'd be great to speak to you again in the future.
Yes, I would love that. And I'm still drinking from the fire hose right now, but I am just
Yes,
excited to keep on meeting more people in the community and learning more about OutSystems and of course meeting people out in the world at our community events and at our One events. So I am just loving this.
amazing. Thanks, Kris. Appreciate you.
Thank you so much.